Hi, and welcome to a new episode on Luderia, where we're making a second game. Today, I've already started most of the digging, as I do in most episodes, to get the repetitive and like the boring stuff out of the way. But while I was digging, I was thinking, there has to be a way to make this faster, and I don't want to work with contraptions all the time, because, I don't know, they're kind of a hassle, in my opinion, to kind of... They always have to be put down, you always have to remember to put them down the right way, or they break stuff. So I don't want to do contraptions for holes like these. If it's to take down a mountain, sure. But then I remembered we have stuff and additions in this pack, which means that we have a drill. A portable drill, which digs out, if you put in a digging enchantment, it digs out a 3x3. Let's head back to the starter base and see if we can actually make this drill. Okay, so that's that covered, and then to make the actual drill... Oh, that's easy enough. What's the steam engine? Oh. That's good enough. That's easy enough to do. This guy. And this guy. 1. 2. There we go, steam engine. Easy. And then I think I've got everything to make a portable drill. Oh, and we're already using tanks, so that is gonna help. Oh god, yes. Okay, we are gonna have to up our tank usage though, or we're gonna have to make sure that we're always full on tanks. But that's doable. So let's see, digging. I don't have a book. Don't have a digging book yet. Maybe in the... Maybe we have one in here. Healing, silk touch, mending and breaking. Okay, so enchanting, we... I mean, kind of have to do this then, right? Can I enchant them? No, I can't. Okay. Oh, there we go. Digging. Almost didn't grab it. Boom. Back to the city we go. Back to the city we go. To keep on digging, by the way. To just keep on digging. So for this game, I want to make a quiz. Kind of like a fast, question round almost. Where we just rattle off a couple of questions and you try and answer as many as you can correctly. To do that, I had a couple of options and a couple of ideas to figure out the mechanism. But the basics are, we're going to take a vault. Right, let me put down a little schematic of what we're going to be building. The goal is to have packages with 4 items in it. All of these will be renamed, but it'll be 1 piece of cobblestone with the question, named for the question. The green wool will be the correct answer, and then we'll have 2 other blocks with 2 other answers. But only the green one is correct. To ask a question, we'll just unpackage the package and then dispense the piece of cobblestone onto 1 depot and then the answers on 3 other depots and have them read out with some display links. I think that's the way I want to do it. But I need to get this set up first. I'll set up like the basic packaging system first, and then we'll get to the setup that reads out the answers and the questions to our players. So we have our main vault in here. This is going to store all our questions. Then we're taking them out here. I'm using a bit of a dropper here to randomize at least a 9x9 so that not all the questions are going to be in order. That is going to be unpackaged in here, and this is where we filter, or where we split up our question and then our 3 answers. And then the next step is to get 3 depots up here. Because I don't want the questions or the answers to always be in the same spot, I'm gonna use a brass tunnel to randomize the output of these 3, so that either way the order of the green, yellow and red is never going to be the same. And we're always trying to look for the green block. So what we're going to do is we're going to do boom, boom, boom. And then filter these on green. So now we know where the green guy is. If he's on there, that is going to turn on. If it's the red one, let's grab a piece of Red Wool for a second. If it's the red one, you'll see that this, oh god, you'll see that this doesn't turn on. Then we need to figure out a way to put everything back into a package and then eventually back into this system right here. To do that, we have a second vault here. We're gonna use this barrel as an input. So we're gonna put everything, so all the questions and our answers we're gonna put in here. And then if we read out, because there's only 4 items per package, so what we could do is set this guy up. Set him to 4, and then we need to take some blocks where I can build on. There we go. And that should be that. Then, to get everything in there, we're going to use a mechanical arm. You are going to take from here. You're also going to take from there and then deposit back in there. That's basically it. Without all the timings, that's basically it. I mean, I do still need to work out how I'm going to get everything back into this vault, which technically should be fairly easy. I'm going to randomize this output as well, so that we have a double randomized system, just to make sure that none of the questions are in the same order. Now let me get all the wiring in place and link everything up so that it works and it functions, and then I'll get back to you for the output of the system, because this is all just input, right? This is all to get a question asked and then to get that question taken back out of the machine. Okay, output time, I should say output time. Right, let's get started. So what we're gonna do, to determine if people are wrong, we're gonna have 3 platforms. Maybe I should do questions first. But basically we'll have a display with the question and then 3 displays with the 3 options, so multiple choice options, right? In front of those displays we'll have 3 colored platforms. We'll have a red, a yellow, and a green platform. And depending on where the green block lands here, one of those is going to be locked in place. The other 2 are going to get pulled away. If you fall, you're wrong. If you stay, you've got the correct answer. I hope that makes sense. So I need to set up some mechanical pistons, 3 of them, somewhere over here, with 3 platforms. And then hook those up over here with the redstone links. Also, I need to do like all the redstone links still. But let me get platforms in place and then we'll do all the redstone and display links. We have 3 platforms. They're all set up with these guys. And then all I need to do is get underneath here. Then put these up here. We're going to set our main frequency to display block. And then I need to we're just going to go in order. We're going to go red here, yellow here, and green here. There you go. The good thing about having advanced displays is that we don't need to give them power, or we don't need to power them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get those in whenever we have a wall to put them on. So that's going to have to wait for a second. Now I do want to have a way to reset the entire system when somebody falls. So I'm gonna make a few like tubes going down, and I don't know, get back to you when I'm done with that to get the mechanism in place. So for the system, we're gonna go in here. We're gonna get some trip wire hooks, trip wire hooks, and just gonna put some string in between all of them, and that is gonna trigger whenever somebody falls through it, which is kind of what we hope to do. And then on the back, over here, we're going to take output from these guys, and we're going to hook it up to this line here, which is going to reset the system right there. I'm going to explain what that system does in a second whenever I have this set up. That is that, and then this links up over here, sending a line up. So when we reset, right, when we fall, we're first going to depower this guy, which should be set to, let's say 30 seconds. And that guy is going to unload all the answered questions into this system, which is then It's gonna look if there's an item in here. If there is, it's gonna depower this guy and it's gonna start firing. Then the line continues over here. When we start the quiz, this is gonna get extended, completing this sequence over here. And then once we fall, it's gonna get depowered so that we don't continue to get a signal through, actually. Now, if we put something in this dropper over here that would have our questions in there, this is gonna get turned on, right? This is our default state, basically. So if we start the quiz, you can see that this guy gets extended as well, completing this sequence over here. It's a bunch of just completing line after line after line. And that should technically work, meaning that if I have a question in here, I should be able to cycle it. Doing that, though, is going to require the display links to be hooked up to the displays and then actually having a floor in here. But mechanically, we're good. So let me build up the rest of the basement and then the floor, and then I'll get back to you. So I have a wall set up with our displays, and I set up all the other things where we have the displays now connected up to these guys. They're getting refreshed by the second so that there's no delay between an item being put up here and then it showing up on the display. We're reading the number of questions that they've answered as well, because, you know, it's always good to know that. And then, of course, the question itself is being read off over there. I need to hook up one more thing, which is a button over here, and that is gonna be powering this one over here. Before we can test it out, I do need a lot of questions, and you know, that is gonna be just me renaming a lot of stuff all the time, and that's not the most interesting thing. So while I do that, while I rename some wool and stone blocks, right, I'm gonna get the cannon working on the building. I'm gonna paste in the building, and I'll be back with you guys when I have all the questions set up as well. Alrighty, righty. I have all of the questions put in. I'm not gonna go through them all today, but basically you start the quiz by pressing a button. Oh, I think it's this one. I think it's the middle one, 150. And then these open up, right? And then they close. We get a second question, or I'll try to answer the second one wrong, so I don't have to go through them. Oh, I don't know this one, actually. I think it's 10%. I'm not sure. Oh, never mind. There we go, and that should have, oh, I don't, good thing I have my backpack on, my jetpack on. That should have, yes, it reset the game. We go down here, we put in a little staircase, because otherwise it's hard to get down here. But, as you can see, right in here, we've got a lot of packages. We have loads of packages in here, and these are all get a little jumbled. They also get mixed up over here, so they're never in the same order, or at least I hope they're never in the same order. And we should be good to go. Now before we keep going on this episode, I do want to do a little bit of an expansion on the city, just so we keep it going. Before we get started on these buildings over here, I just want a little bit more of a background over here. So I have some buildings planned out. I do need to do some prep. So give me a minute. I'm going to do a little bit of digging. Mostly just clean up this edge over here. Get some other stuff in. And I'll see you all once this part of the city is in. And we can keep going on the rest of the episode. And there we go. We have a road going up, which I still need some slabs in here, but overall we have houses, which is nice. We have that really like dense alleyway kind of feel. And I like it. I enjoy it. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Now, I want to make one more thing that is going to help us when we eventually open up this world to people. And it's mostly going to be doing with events and just in general, how do we keep track of who has won more games than other people. Over here, to this side, right here, we have a wing, basically, of stuff where we can kind of fill up with redstone and make some cool mechanisms. So I'm going to do some digging, add a basement, and then also do some resource collecting. And I'll be right back for the actual system that we're going to be putting in. And I'll explain everything once we do that. Maybe I start with explaining what we're trying to do. The goal of this system is to, whenever we play games, people will get tokens. And the goal of this system is to have a vault, basically, of tokens, and where people can, with an ID pass, access their vault, put in their tokens, and then also kind of see how many tokens they have at the current moment. So we're going to start off with the ID tracking or the ID system. We're going to use depots for this. We're going to have a depot there, 2 buttons with a display over there, and then we'll have an input sitting over here like that. Nope, that's an output. Input. Then over here we'll have a vertical vault like so, and I'm gonna get rid of this real quick. Input, output, and we'll power this somehow with this button over here. We also want to have a system that returns, or that puts the ID in here, which that is going to do this with hoppers, boom. And then since we have a button on this block over here, we can use a relay like so. And that should now, if we put an item on here, just a singular item, should do that. Good. Now this needs to be locked right here. Let's do another relay here. Do that. Locked right there. So let's go through the system again. We put in our ID card, enter it. Now the ID card is in this vault right here. And if you want to return it, we hit the other button. We should be getting it back. Oh, never mind. Now we should be getting it back. There we go. Then for the input, that is fairly standard as well. We'll have you. We'll have 2 outputs over here as well. One of those is gonna grab, I think I'm gonna go with zinc coins. Not the sprocket or the bevels, but actual zinc coins. We want to do it so that if this one's empty, this one is locked, this one's open. So we'll do relay right there. Empty is locked. There we go. Wait, no. Let's do that. And then if I put an item in here. Now this one's open. This one should be locked. Right there. And this one will always be open. That means that if I put something in here, like my wrench, it's always going to return. And if I put a coin in here and I don't have an account selected, it's also going to return in here. We can demonstrate that by doing this real quick. There we go. But if I have an account selected, so if I have an input over here, we are going to get coins in our account. Now I keep talking about accounts, and that's why we have the basement. Let me set up a module and I'll explain what it does and how it functions. Because it's quite compact. It's easier to show you and explain it when it's done than it does when you're like kind of building it, I guess. So let me put a module in place, and yeah, we'll make it make sense. So the coins will come from in here, they'll snake down here, and then we'll have a row, or we can have a row of modules. This is tileable, so we can add as many as we want next to this one. And basically what's going to happen is if this is selected, we'll do the logic and like the selecting system in a little bit. But if this module is selected, this account basically, this guy is going to start flickering, which is it's doing now. And then this we're going to set to amount of matching items. And we're going to call it, this is going to be my account, for instance, eggs. And we're just going to do that. So now we should be able to see, if we go up here, that I have 0 coins in my account. Now let me go and grab some ID cards, and then we'll do the logic stuff as well. Okay, so we have ID cards now, and we're going to come back here and we're going to set up a little logic board. Now let's talk about how this is going to work. These are ID cards from numismatics, right? And you can bind a card to a player, right? So we have 2 different NBT files or NBT data. And the good thing about these cards is that if we were to set up some gauges, we can have these set up over there, and we can have one look at my card, right? And then one look at the blank one. And these gauges will pick up NBT data. That means that once we look at this, right, let's set these to 1. If I insert my card into the system, right, my card, this guy is gonna read 1. I don't know if you can see that, and this one is reading 0. Now we can work with that fairly easy. If we use these logic gauges from extra gauges, the add-on, we can put those over here. We can set those to a NOR signal. That means that they're gonna, as long as they're not powered, they're gonna give a signal. We're gonna do that, set these as filters, and then let's just, I don't know, let's grab anything like that. So we're gonna add a connection to there, and then we're gonna add another connection to here, meaning this one is now on. We're gonna do the same over here. Boom. And then down here, I just need to set this filter. This is mine. Boom. Now this is gonna stop doing its thing. I'm gonna put that on like so. And I'm gonna get the second module in because that makes sense. And it's gonna allow me to show you how this works. Now, we don't have any input, so we want this little screen to be blank. So we're gonna come in here, and we're gonna sneak behind here. We're just gonna simply set up a little system that does that for us. So that should turn off whenever I insert a card, and then we should now be seeing, there we go. Okay, and then we request our card back. And we put in our eggs card. We should be seeing this eggs. Good. And that should be player 2. There we go. Look at that. Okay, so this technically all works. That's our logic, which is good. And then I think that's it. Okay, the only thing I need to do now is 1, clear this up a little bit. Also, take a little nap. And I need to make a system, or I need to set up a way for the players, and I'm thinking Trollash and some of my other friends, to get access to these cards. They don't have to, right? But if they do want to play and collect tokens and become the best, basically, they will have to buy themselves a game card. So, over a game idea. So let me set up a system and I'll be right back. And there we go. We have our little clerk. He's selling tickets for 4 copper coins. Or passes, I should say, or ID cards, whatever. We have the entire system rigged up. I did add another module just if ever I have more players. They're not too hard to build, but I don't know. I might do a stream and then prepare all the materials that I need in these cabinets. Just so if ever somebody else joins and doesn't have an account set up just yet, I can quickly build up another module as well. Ooh, one thing that I do want to do, just as a little buffer, is add a storage vault or a chest at the back of this, just as like overflow protection. If ever something gets through, it just doesn't despawn. We've got some decoration up, as you can see. I got some shelves and some stuff around. Now, I might hear you asking, how are they getting the tokens that they can store in their vaults? Good question. I have an answer for that, and we're gonna come back to this guy, because I am gonna add one little system to this in here, in this little back area. I'm going to add a depot sitting right there. Maybe not that. Do I want to do it that low? Because they're going to be able to see that, which is not what I wanted to happen. That's not an option. I could put it in here at the back, but that's also not an option because I don't know, it doesn't look good. We could put it in here and just have it be like central. Worst case scenario, put it somewhere in here with the explanation. Let me think about it. Little edit. I put the button in here, mostly because now it also doesn't obscure any of the screens and it's still pretty accessible. And then this now fits within the field. We can trigger it remotely. And the way we're going to trigger it is fairly simple, I would say. We are going to have a readout of this vault. And we're going to set this. I don't know how many packages or how many questions I have. I've got 9, 5, and then a whole lot of them in here. But for now, I'm just going to set it to 10. If people get to 10, they're going to get 1 coin. The coins. I'm going to need more of these coins. But for now, I'm just going to get these 60 coins in here. I'll make more coins probably on stream. Still needs a doorway, but I kind of want to wait until I have this figured out. The roadway is going to come down here, then walk along the river. And I kind of want to put in an extra square, but I don't really have an idea on how to design it, or if I want to keep it within this design, or if I want to use a different design. I have no idea for. Now that we have that system set up right there, I want to show you some of the changes I made to the card game. For those who don't know, last week I uploaded a recording of me and Trollash playing the game for the first time, and we did get a couple of things that we wanted to change just in general to the game. And I think, where did I put that backpack? I think we're gonna start off with a problem that we were having with item frames. That is that when cards are shown in this position, they are facing to the front, which is what we want. But if we now put a card in here, you can see the back only. And that's because they use the same location, the same fitting tag or fitting property in the game, but they're rotated differently. So if I change this one to be up facing, right, this one will be back facing, which is annoying. And it's not something you can get around. So what I did is I added another block or another block in game. You can craft it by like this, and you get 8 tiles. And they're basically the same thing as an item frame, but if I now grab that card back and I put it in here, we can see that it's now front facing. The functionality of it all is not yet 100%, but I'm working on it. And it's turning out pretty well. Now, on the second note, now that we have a card in our follower statue, look at this. Now, if we were having trouble with like knowing which card was what and what it was doing. So now, if we crouch and look at an inventory with a card in it, so this works on any type of thing. So if we put it on a pedestal, it'll work. If we put it on a pedestal like this, it'll work. If we put it, let's grab that item frame again. If we put this card on an item frame, it'll work. So all of these will work, and you can just kind of shift click to see the card, which is a lot easier than constantly taking out the card and taking it back and putting it back. The last thing that I added is I changed some cards. I need to add some more cards, but for now, the last thing that I added is damage tokens. We were having another issue was keeping track of damage. And so now you can use smooth stone, and you can put like little blocks in front of your followers, and they stack up to 16. And I think that's gonna be enough, right? An entire tile is 16 of them. So that should be enough. There we go. But those, I'll make more of those. That's why I'm smelting all the smooth stone, and I'll store them in here somewhere in a barrel or of some sorts. So yeah, that's the changes that I made. We are planning another test game because I made some rule changes as well. But I won't go over rule changes. You'll have to watch the test game for that to be obvious. But I kind of want to give people who don't want to play Create but still want to play the game in the future an option to play it as well. So I'm working on a vanilla recipe as well. And that's about it. That's all the updates on the card game. That being said, I have played one more game with Throlash. We had some cool fun on stream. I'll link to the VOD in the description below. But I have a couple of edits to make again. And then, I don't know, in time we'll have another play date, I guess you could call it, a test play. But we're getting to a point where we can call this like 90% done. I did hook up Throlash's card so we could test it out. So now this is looking for Throlash's card to Throlash, and he does have an account now, an account in our point system. Now I'm going to end the episode right here. It's been going on long enough. We've done a lot of work, and I'm excited about what's to come. Hopefully you guys are as well, and are excited enough to like and subscribe this video. But I'll see you all in the next one, where we'll do some more upgrades and maybe get some more mechanics within the world. So yeah, see you then. Have a great one, and bye!